Hi there, and welcome to the demonstration of SmartWay Business Solutions custom module, Import and Export Privileges. It's a module that grants you the ability to add a level of restriction to your models and objects by letting you allow or deny the action of export or import on them. In other words, it helps you keep your data safe from any kind of extortion. Our module also grants you the ability to specify privileged users who could perform export or import actions on all models and objects regardless of the set restriction. We also provide free feature updates and bug fixes for some versions within set support duration, and our module is also compatible with both Odoo Community and Enterprise editions. Now let's move on to configuring our models and check the awesome features of this module. After installing the module and while developer mode is on, navigate to the technical menu in the settings and go to the models menu to set the actions of import and export on the models you would like. For example, I'd like to choose something related to the sale order model. Let's choose sale order template. As you can see, we can set actions through checking or unchecking these boxes here to grant or restrict import or export ability on this model. Now let's move on to our quick and easy export cases. If there was a restriction on export on a certain model, for example, the sale order model here, then an error message will appear when trying to export a file from this model. Let us uncheck the export box here and then move on to the quotations page. Let's choose a few records. Then move on to Action, Export. As you can see, this error message will appear notifying us of our inability to export from this restricted model. Another case to check is the case of contradicting privileges on related models. Now, if we had two related models through a one-to-many field, such as how the sale order model is related to the sale order line model, and their export privileges were the same, then we can export the data within the one-to-many field easily. As you can see, we are checking the Allow Export checkboxes to align the privileges of these models and see how the system behaves normally with the same privileged models on export. Let's move on to the quotations page again. Refresh it since we have changed the privileges. Choose a few records and then move on to export. And of course the export wizard would appear normally, and if I try to search for the sale order line model fields, they would appear easily to choose from and would also be exported easily. Here they are. We can choose any field related to this model to be exported. Just like that. Now our case focuses on what happens once we remove the ability to export from the sale order line model. What happens is that the fields from this related restricted model will be filtered out and won't be available to choose from on the export wizard. Let's remove the ability. Move on back to the quotations to check the behavior of the system once we did that. Let's refresh again. And then choose a few records. Move on to export. The export wizard has appeared normally since the export is already allowed on the sale order model. But as you can see here, I can't find any fields related to the sale order line model within the wizard to choose from, as the export privileges are contradicting here. But note that we can actually still export our document easily, as the export action is allowed on the sale order model as a whole. We have more than one scenario when it comes to importing data to certain models. If there is a restriction on import on a certain model, for example, the sale order model here, then an error message will appear when trying to import a file to this model in the system. Let us uncheck the box here, and then move on to the quotations page, which is basically the sale order model itself. And then let's try to import a file. Let's load this file, for example. And this error will appear notifying us of our inability to import to this restricted model. Now another case to check is the case of contradicting privileges on related models. For example, if I had the import action allowed on the sale order model here, which contains within it a one-to-many field within another related model, such as the sale order line here, where import isn't allowed, then the system will behave in a way to not let you import any data related to any fields within the import restricted models, and they will be even filtered out from the import columns themselves. Let's check out for ourselves and move on to see what happens once we try to import with these contradicting privileges. Back to the quotations page, let's import. Let's load a file here again, open it up, and as you can see, the order line column status is labeled as don't import by default, and the fields within it are filtered out to not show any field labels related to the sale order line model. Let's search for order lines, for example, and as you can see, no matches were found. While we can't import the filtered out fields, but we can still import the rest if import on the models is not restricted. Now let's move on to our next interesting import case about contradicting privileges again. If import was allowed on a certain model, again, the sale order here, which includes a many-to-one field within another related model, such as the res.partner model right here, where import isn't allowed, then the fields from the related restricted model will not be imported to the system with the other ones, even in the case of trying to create new many-to-one IDs, such as partner IDs, while trying to use Odoo's create if doesn't exist checkbox on import. Again, let's trace the behavior of the system ourselves by going back to the quotations page and trying to import a file which contains new partner IDs. Now back to quotations, import. Let's load the file again. Now notice that Odoo by default will grant you the ability of creating partners if they don't exist, but our module restricts such a thing in this case, even if you check the box right here. Let's click on import, and the error will appear notifying us of our inability to import. Another feature to note is the fact that you can specify specific users who are able to perform all export and import actions on any models regardless of the set restrictions. All you have to do is go to navigate to the users page in the settings and set the users you would like to have such privileges. Let's go into edit mode and we want to check the export import super user checkbox. Once you have checked this box, you would have given your user the ability to import and export on any model regardless of set restrictions, as we have mentioned before. Let's move on to check that ability real quick. We have the sale order model. Let's remove the privileges from this model and then try to perform these actions. You refresh the page, of course, because of the change of privileges. Choose records and try to export them. As you can see, we can export them regardless of the set export restrictions. And we can also import. Let's load this file. As you can see, we were able to import the file also regardless of the set restriction. I hope this was a helpful demonstration. Don't forget to contact us for further inquiries or to request a testing database or customization. Thank you for watching.